Hi everyone, it's Mr. Cannon back again with the screencast of the Essential Question Slideshow, or the EQ as we like to call it. So the first question, what is an EQ? Well, here we go. The EQ is a question that will guide, that's key right there, is the guide, will guide, challenge, and ensure student learning throughout the senior project journey. So if that's the party line, the next question is, well, what does that mean? So here we go. The EQ is a question that sets up what it is you're going to do. The student's going to work towards answering it throughout the course of their year, doing their research, completing the application of knowledge, and your own analysis. Or, if you think of it this way, you're doing this senior project. What do you want to know or be able to do by the end of it? Think about that. That is the answer to your essential question. So think about the outcome and then write a question that's going to get you to that outcome. In terms of parameters, here we go. All right, first and foremost, you're going to have to do some research and you're going to have to analyze that research. And so the essential question should require that research and analysis be necessary in order for it to be answered. It's got to be a question that's going to push you beyond your own existing knowledge. In terms of the mechanics of it, it should be free of bias or opinion. It shouldn't assume anything. It should allow for more answers than just yes or no. If you can answer your essential question with the word yes, it's not a very good essential question. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Provide for interaction on the outside expert with the outside expert. We'll talk about the outside expert in a different slideshow, so check that one out. And lastly, you're going to have to generate a list of anywhere from 3 to 5 sub-essential questions, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes, what we mean by sub-EQs. By a few minutes, I mean right now. So a sub-essential question, if you think about your essential question as the big picture question, the sub-essential questions are the little bits and pieces that are going to help you answer the big picture question. So whereas the EQ is very sort of broad and maybe more analytical, the sub-EQs can be more factual and more succinct. It's a little tricky. We'll show you some examples of that in a few minutes. So you're working on your EQ and you're jotting down some ideas. Here's some questions to ask yourself. All right, you generate your sort of first draft of your essential question. You look at it. Will it allow for both research and analysis? You should know what research is. You should know what analysis is. If you don't, ask a humanities teacher or a science teacher, I suppose. Sorry, math. So you answered yes, good. You've come up with a good EQ. Continue on. If not, keep working with it. Can you answer your EQ with the word yes or with the word no? Obviously, if you can, then it's not a very good EQ, right? Why would you spend 8 months trying to figure out the answer no? But if not, good, you're on your way. Can you answer your EQ right now without doing any research? Notice we keep going back to research. We keep talking about it a lot. It's kind of an important aspect of the senior project journey, right? If you can do it without any research, well, then it's probably not a very well-drafted EQ and perhaps not a very good project idea. But if no, you can definitely tell it requires research, then you are on the right track and proceed as planned. And lastly, can you connect your AOK to your essential question? If the answer is yes, that's good. They should be. They should be closely related. And if not, then you've got a problem. So way back in the day when senior project started, we used to start with essential questions and then try to create applications of knowledge that work well. But over the years, what we've realized is that a student's approach to senior project really starts with the AOK. Students think to themselves, this is what I want to do, or this is sort of what I want to create. And so if you've got a really cool AOK, idea, then maybe think about your essential question as being built on that, right? What question can you ask that your A-OK is going to be an answer to that question? That might be a better process. Start with your A-OK and then craft an EQ to fit with that. I'm going to give you a couple of examples so you can sort of see what we're talking about here. The first one is, here's a fairly typical essential question. How can someone with almost no knowledge in the field of game design create a video game? That's a good question. I don't know how someone with no game design or no knowledge of the field of game design creates a game. In order to do that, here are the sub-EQs that you're going to need in order to answer that question, right? What are video games? What does it mean to be a video game? What makes a video game different from other things that you might find on a computer or a smartphone or something like that? How does one create a video game? How can video games be developed to promote learning in new and challenging ways? So these are some sub-EQs that might be useful, helpful, maybe even necessary in order to answer the big EQ here. Here's another example. How can a high school student become involved in a local Habitat for Humanity organization? Right? In order to answer that question, you should know what Habitat for Humanity is. You should know what the limiting factors of the organization are and in what ways a student can volunteer for the organization. These are sub-EQs. This is something that is going to be a process. The development of essential questions should not be something that you write quickly and hastily and then never change. In fact, EQs are sort of like thesis statements in that over the course of your 8-month journey, you might find that you need to tweak and change your EQ just a little bit, and that's totally okay. I mean, that's part of the process and it's really expected. And as far as the sub-EQs go, once you sort of get the senior project rolling and get on your way on your journey, you might actually find that your sub-EQs reveal themselves to you. Like, these are the questions that you have yourself as you're doing the project. So if you still have questions, if you're still a little worried about your EQ, then that's something that you can talk to your senior project mentor about. You can talk to your friends and family, other seniors who are doing similar projects. Talk to some of your teachers. Heck, you can even talk to me about it, and I'll help you draft some EQs. So, with that in mind, this is Mr. Cannon again, signing off.